Case study. Price discrimination involves charging different prices to different sets of consumers for the same good. Airlines are experts at price discrimination, and fare you pay could end up being significantly different to the person sitting next to you, receiving exactly the same service. One of the key factors, of course, is time of buying ticket. So when the booking is made is very important, with evidence showing that the highest prices paid are when it is booked last minute and cheaper when it is booked a long way in advance, the cheapest time, but not always, tending to be about 6 weeks before the flight. The lower price attracted more people who are sensitive to prices and ensures that the flight will fill up. The differences in prices for the same service is often high and related to elasticity and a good discussion flows regarding whether it is fair or not. Airlines takes advantage of difference in demand elasticity, as business flyers or emergency travels have less elastic demand and vacation travelers has more elastic demand, and they plan their trips in advance. In some cases, price discrimination reflects amenities associated with higher price, such as business class passengers have better seats and meals. They have also extra leg room. Airlines also charges high tickets for friendly hours, such as if you take a weekend break. Most people would prefer to come back late on Sunday. These late Sunday flights tend to be more expensive than early morning Sunday flights. Sometimes airlines also makes traveling a peak times much more expensive. One good example is traveling during the week. The reason is that the customers traveling Monday to Friday are businessmen. Their demand tends to be more inelastic because it is paid by company expenses. If you are more flexible and willing to travel at the weekend, you are more sensitive to price and have a more elastic demand. Airfares also vary depending on the time of the year. During peak summer holidays, airfares are more expensive. Parents have more inelastic demand because they cannot go on holiday term time. Price discrimination is also evident in frequent flyer scheme, where passenger is charged less due to huge quantity of tickets purchased by the consumers. It is a way of rewarding loyal consumers. The more times you travel with a particular airline, the more air miles you get, and thus get a discount for frequent flying. Questions. 1. What are the prerequisites to price discrimination? Why do you think airlines are successful in price discrimination? 2. Do you think different ways of price discrimination mentioned in this case belong to different degrees of price discrimination? Give justification. 3. Which type of price discrimination seems most unrealistic to you? Why? 4. Which degree of price discrimination is justifiable for frequent flyer scheme? Give reason.
Facts of the case. The entire case study is based on the topic of price discrimination. Price discrimination is a part of monopoly pricing. Monopoly is a part of imperfect market. It has two parts. One is pure monopoly, where a seller will charge similar high price for all customers for his product, whereas under the second part, i.e., price discrimination, a seller charges different prices for different customers for the same product produced under a single control without corresponding differences in cost of production of either a commodity or service. It is the experience of almost all business people that price discrimination is much more profitable than simple monopoly. The present case study provides a vivid description of airlines and how they charge different prices for different types of customers under different circumstances and make huge profits. The concept of elasticity of demand helps in arriving appropriate decision-making in airline pricing policy. A. What are the requisites to price discrimination? Successful implementation of price discrimination policy depends on a number of prerequisite conditions. They are discussed under A. Existence of an imperfect market. This is because under perfect competition all the buyers and sellers will have perfect knowledge of the market. Under monopoly, there will be place for price discrimination as there are buyers with incomplete knowledge and information about the market. B. Existence of different degrees of elasticity of demand in different markets. A monopolist will succeed in charging higher price in inelastic market and lower price in elastic market. C. Existence of different markets for the same commodity. This will facilitate price discrimination because buyers in one market will not be knowing the prices charged for the same product in other markets. D. No contact among buyers. If there is possibility of contact among different buyers, they will come to know that discriminatory practices are adopted by sellers and the buyers start demanding lower prices for them also. E. No possibility of resale. Monopoly products purchased by consumers in the low-priced market should not have opportunity to sell in the high-priced market. Buyers should only buy and they should not turn into sellers. Prevention of re-exchange of goods is a must for price discrimination. F. Legal sanction. In some cases, price discrimination is legally allowed. For example, the electricity department will charge different rates per unit of electricity for different purposes. Similarly, on book post, registered posts, insured parcel and courier parcel are different. G. Buyer's illusion. When consumers have some irrational attitudes that high-priced goods are of high quality, a monopolist can resort to price discrimination. Generally, it may be true but not always. H. Ignorance and lethargy. Due to laziness and lethargy, consumers may not compare the prices of the same product in different shops. Ignorance of consumers with regard to price variations would enable the monopolist to charge different prices. I. Preferences and prejudices of buyers. The monopolist may charge different prices for different varieties of brands of the same product to different buyers. For example, low price popular edition of the book and high price for deluxe edition. J. Non-transferability features. In case of direct personal services like private tuition, haircuts, beauty and medical treatments, a seller can conveniently charge different prices. K. Purpose of service. Railways charge different rates for carrying perishable goods, durable goods, necessaries of life and luxuries etc. Even water department charge different rates for different types of customers like domestic users, agriculturists, industrialists and other purposes. L. Geographical distance and tariff barriers. When markets are separated by large distances and tariff barriers, the monopolist has to charge different prices due to high transport cost and high rate of taxes. Thus, a number of prerequisite conditions are necessary for practicing price discrimination by a monopolist. B. Why do you think airlines are successful in price discrimination? It is quite common to observe that airline transport has become inevitable and indispensable in today's life for several groups of people. We know that air transport is one of the fastest and quickest means of transport in the world today. It helps in saving a lot of travel time. Hence, it has become a convenient method of transportation. Generally, it is the higher income group and richer sections of the society and officials use this mode of transport and they have their own special preferences for different airlines. The demand is less elastic for these types of customers. When these groups of people are totally busy in their daily routine work, they do not bother about the price per ticket. Time is money, for them. They consider the value or purpose of their visits. Money is not the criteria but the time has become much more valuable than anything else today. Airlines have identified and examined all these aspects of customers and they have come to the conclusion that in spite of high rates per seat, they are able to make lot of money. As long as customers are ready to pay high prices, why should airlines bother? 2. Do you think different ways of price discrimination mentioned in this case belong to different degrees of price discrimination? Give justification. The details of the present case are an example for the 3 basic degrees of price discrimination practiced by a monopolist to maximize his total profits. He will make use of all the 3 degrees of price discrimination depending upon the situation and conditions existing in the market. Generally speaking, there are degrees of discrimination. They are: A. Discrimination of the first degree. In this case, The producer exploits the consumer to the maximum possible extent by asking him to pay the maximum price he is prepared to pay rather than go without that commodity or service. The monopolist will not allow any consumer surplus to the consumer. It is called as perfect discrimination. Under the following cases, people are ready to pay any price per ticket to meet their demands. One can certainly justify such situations and circumstances. Examples in the case study are: 1. Bookings made at the last moment by any class of people. 2. In case of emergency travels, generally speaking there will be inelastic demand. 3. Business class passengers have better seats and meals and have extra leg rooms and other facilities. 4. People who go for weekend breaks. 5. People who would prefer to come back late on Sundays to attend next day morning official work. Hence, late Sunday flights tend to be more expensive than early morning Sunday flights. 6. Traveling during the peak times of the week between Monday to Friday etc. by business executives and businessmen for their official work. 7. Travel during peak summer holidays with their family members as children do not have other long holidays. Parents have more inelastic demand because they cannot go on holiday during term time etc. B. Discrimination of the second degree. In this case, the monopolist will charge a little bit low price than the maximum price so as to leave a certain amount of consumers' surplus with consumers. This is done to keep the consumers happy and prevent the entry of potential rivals into the market. The objective is to earn highest possible profits and also keep customers happy about the products or services of the company. In the case study, the following instances indicate this type of discrimination. 1. When the customers book their seats well in advance when the portal for booking is opened up for 6 weeks earlier to departure. First bookings up to a certain number will have certain amount of discounts. Time of booking is an important aspect here. Many customers are sensitive to price changes and they will be waiting for such an opportunity to grab the discount offer. 2. Vacation trips are planned well in advance and book their tickets much earlier to others. 3. Airfares would also differ depending upon the time of the year. During non-festival periods, non-general holiday periods and working day times etc. one can enjoy certain discounts etc. C. Discrimination of the third degree. In this case, market is divided into many submarkets or subgroups. The price charged in each case roughly depends on the ability to pay of different subgroups in the market. This is the most common type of discrimination followed by a monopolist. In general, the monopolist would make use of the last degree of discrimination. In the case study, the following instance would indicate this type of third degree of price discrimination. 1. Frequent flyers of a particular airline would certainly get certain amount of discount. The regular and loyal customers are eligible for enjoying certain discounts. 2. Passengers who would buy bulk tickets well in advance would get certain amount of benefits or discounts. 3. Frequent flyers who travel in a particular airline with more miles would get discounts. Thus, all the 3 degrees of price discrimination is adopted by airlines. 3. Which type of price discrimination seems most unrealistic to you? Why? Generally, it is observed that all types of discrimination are not favorable and justifiable on account of several reasons. Let us identify the cases where we cannot justify the policy of price discrimination. 1. It is not profitable and unrealistic in case where price discrimination leads to exploitation of the poor, common man, elimination of small entrepreneurs from the field of business, over-investment in business, underutilization of resources and all other kinds of wastages, low production and employment etc. 2. It is highly unwise when the monopolist is charging a relatively higher price for those goods having elastic demand and a relatively lower price for those having inelastic demand. 3. If the monopolist is not sharing a part of his total profits with his employees in the form of higher wages, salaries and bonus, better working conditions and creation of common facilities to the working class in his organization etc., then also there cannot be any justification. 4. If price discrimination is not allowed in general public utility services and public sectors, where total receipts are generally much lower than the total costs of production, common man and economically poor people will not get certain products or services. For example, railways, P&T, electric and water departments, etc., then it is most unreasonable policy of the monopolists. In all the above cases, the monopolist is enriching himself at the cost of poor, weak, unorganized groups of people and common man. There is no justification if he is exploiting one section of the society and enjoy his life when thousands of people will not have two full meals per day. It is a wrong business policy and cannot be continued for a long time. 4. Which degree of price discrimination is justifiable for frequent flyer scheme? Give reason. The third degree of price discrimination is justified in case of frequent flyer scheme. Passengers who would buy bulk tickets well in advance from your airlines and those people who travel more miles in your airlines should get certain amount of benefits or discounts. This group of people are your regular and valuable customers. Moreover, throughout the year they organize one or the other trips either within the country or outside the country and you will get recurrent business from them. They are your loyal customers. They do not go to other airlines. They are the trusted customers. Consequently, it is your duty to keep this group of people happy and satisfied. If there is slight negligence on your part towards this group, they may tilt and shift towards other airlines. They will bargain with other airlines and arrange for better deals and discounts, and you may have to lose them permanently. In any business, if you lose the loyal customers once, it is highly difficult to get back them once again. Conclusion. It is to be noted that price discrimination is at best an instrument of pricing policy of the monopolist. With the help of this instrument, he should maximize his profits, of course, without adversely affecting the common man and poorer sections of the society. Hence, the monopolist has to use his discretion when he follows this policy. In the short period, one may get higher profits if he charges a higher price, but in the long run there is every possibility that he may lose his business permanently. One has to cautiously adopt this policy with utmost care. Anything may happen in the business field. Today's monopolist may become tomorrow's competitor in the market. Please subscribe to Programmer, our DPR YouTube channel.